Hello, welcome to You Haven't Blanked That. I'm Forrest.
And this is Jimmy. Hey, Forrest.
Hey, Jimmy.
So this week for Christopher Nolan month, we watched a little movie called The Prestige.
Yes.
What? Oh, man, I don't like your tone right now. Okay, so The Prestige is a period thriller set in the Edwardian London where two rival magicians partners until the tragic death of an assistant during the show. Fueled bitterly after one of them performs the ultimate magic trick, teleportation. His rival tries desperately to uncover the secrets of his routine, experimenting with dangerous and new science as his quest takes him to the brink of insanity and jeopardizes the lives of everyone around the pair. Bum, bum, bum. I fucking love this film.
Okay. It's a little long for me. We could have knocked out a good 15, 20 minutes out of this movie.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
On paper, I should like this movie.
But I say I'll give you that, but like at the same time, you need those 15 minutes for the rewatches. Okay. Because which is interesting.
Assuming there will be.
Oh no, there has to be. You have to watch it again. Because the Christian Bale, his trick is the teleportation, where it walks him through. He throws a ball, walks through the door, pops up the other side, grabs the ball, and like by its second bounce or first bounce, which is super like, how the fuck did you do it? But it's all of it's in your face throughout the entire film that like Christian Bale has a twin brother, and so, but that's great to see in the film is that Christian Bale was so like dialed into his performance that he knew which brother he was at each given time. So, which is always weird because, like, you see when the first time watching the film, you don't know what's going on. But it's weird that he's constantly getting dressed. Every time you see him, he's constantly putting on clothes. So it's like, oh, because the brothers are switching positions, and then so it's like, okay, cool. And then the girlfriend, he goes like, I don't know what it is about you. Some days I feel like you love me. Some days I feel like you don't love me. And then like, or like, I don't know who I'm talking to today. Or like, they're giving you constant clues that like, the girlfriend knows. Something's up, but she even doesn't even know.
But you can see that from a mile away.
But I feel like that's why you need the clothing changes.
No. But you saw that like a mile away. Like I when I got to the end of this movie, this is what I felt like.
David Bowie.
No, first off, that was awesome. I'll give you anytime David Bowie shows. Yeah. I got a follow-up question. Let's do this now.
Okay.
So David Bowie. You don't like rock and roll actors, but David Bowie shows up in this movie and you're completely okay with it.
I fucking love David Bowie. He could do no wrong.
But I also said, hey, let's watch The Man Who Fell from Earth with David Bowie.
I know how I feel about that. Because I feel like this is just a cameo. So it's just like
he's a cameo.
But a fantastic.
What is your definition of cameo?
Just a celebrity coming in for a small scene and then moving on.
But he's in like 2 or 3 scenes of this movie. He isn't.
Oh yeah, he is in a few scenes.
He's in more than.
Yeah, he's part of the cast.
He's not. Yeah. He's not moving the old 1950s television, but he's definitely moving a couch in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's part of the cast. But I don't know. I think it was because he was so minor that it was just like the perfect amount of it. Because if he was in the film as like an actual like main character, I feel like that I wouldn't have liked it. But the fact that he was such a minor character, not minor because he was a big role in the film, but like but his time was so limited. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great.
I'll tell you what I felt like when I got to the end of this movie because I knew it was coming though. Hey everybody, I'm Mr. Snrub. I am Guy Incognito. Yeah. And that's how I felt when I got to the end, and I'm all like, really? Really? Like this is? And I'm like, they're not gonna pull the twin. And the whole time I was like, oh, they're not gonna do the twin thing.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
I was like, they're not gonna do. Okay, I had the same thought on this as I had when I was watching the X-Men cartoon, and I was like, oh, they're not gonna pull out Wolverine's skeleton. Like that's too recent.
Yeah.
And then like it's 30 fucking years ago. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's not.
Yeah.
I guess it's not too recent. If you're going off of what they did in the old cartoon, yeah, I guess it's not too recent. I think I would have liked this movie more if Michael Caine was narrating the whole thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be nice.
Because I thought that's what I got excited about. Like, but then you find out he's only testifying in court and narrate. I mean, I like seeing Michael Caine throughout the movie. Don't get me wrong, but like if we had that narration of Michael Caine throughout the movie, like I felt like it jumped points of view too many times for me.
Could you tell the difference between the twins throughout the film?
I couldn't tell. I'll give you that. I couldn't tell the difference between, but I felt like that's what they were gonna do.
Okay.
Like I was just like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I thought that it was great because if you watch it a second time, you'll start to pick up clues on like the twins. You could see one's more quieter and sweeter, and the other one's kind of more just strict and like his thing. But
there's a lot of good people. I was surprised to see Andy Serkis pop up in it.
Yeah, right.
And Sheriff of Rottingham.
Oh yeah, he's in the film.
Roger Rees.
Yeah, but like seeing like just that fucking like. That bitterness between these two like magicians, like I thought it was, oh man, it was good, because like Hugh Jackman, like he's to the point where like he's just like he at the end he almost becomes like the biggest fucking villain, because you know what I mean, like he's just like,
well, that's kind of it kind of does that switch. Did you see what's that Guillermo del Toro movie, the one with Bradley Cooper?
Oh,
Bradley Cooper, where he was like the. He's like the sideshow runner, and then he becomes he's trying to get like it came out during the pandemic. Nightmare Alley.
Oh yeah, I never saw it. I started to, but I was like, oh, I have to get back to it.
It kind of has the same framing device, where he with that story in respects to that storyline, where he does a complete 180.
Yeah.
And when you get to the end of it, you're like, oh yeah, I guess. That's where this would go.
So, what part of the film did you not like?
I think...
Was it the Edwardian piece? Because everything's very kind of gray.
No, I don't mind that. Like, I get... I think he just... I think I'm very hit or miss with Chris Nolan, because... Like, I think I liked his voice in Memento. I like him before he found his voice.
Okay.
I think I don't like the voice that he found for himself, and more part he has. I know I'm not right, because a shit ton of people like his stuff, but like I don't know, like I don't know if I like the voice that he found for himself.
Yeah. Okay.
So it wasn't like anything.
Okay.
It's not like. And it's not like it doesn't look good. Like his movies all look good. He uses the same guy.
Is it? Do you think the fact that he always goes for like extremely like intelligent films?
No, not necessarily. I mean, and it's not even like I think he takes a gamble on the high concepts, and I don't think they always pay off like he wants them to.
Yeah. Okay. Because like, what was that? Interstellar.
I like Interstellar.
I like Interstellar, but at the same time, it was like.
But you have to.
I feel like he's kind of.
Right.
Like maybe he was focusing on this film for far too long, or the concepts of Interstellar is actually really complex, but like. Maybe he just took himself too serious with it.
I don't know. Maybe that's maybe he's a little too serious about the. I think he's too serious about the wrong elements.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's
because like the thing about Christopher Nolan films, there's no heart to it. It's very.
I'll give you that. It's too thinky.
It's too thinky. It's always too.
As opposed to M. Night Shyamalan, which is too much heart and not thinky, and way not and just dumb.
Right. Yeah.
Like. I think they both come up with really good concepts, but I think their ways of attacking those concepts.
Yeah, because I think that's the reason why I wasn't too into Interstellar. Like, he
I
knew
like that
because
one, though.
I liked it. I liked it too. But the thing is, like, there was the human heart, like the aspect about his daughter and all this stuff. Like, I feel like you only got that from Matthew McConaughey's performance. You didn't get that from the film. There was like, you know what I mean? Like the film never gave you like a sense of like, you know, even with the music, it wasn't like fuck, like you know, the buildup of emotion wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was kind of very like, the performance gave you the emotion, but it was everything else kind of like doled it out a bit. But
did you ever see the movie? Kind of going off space movies right now. Did you ever see the movie Ad Astra?
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra. ADASTRA with Brad Pitt.
No.
And
Brad Pitt.
Find Ad Astra.
Uh-huh.
And it's essentially Heart of Darkness in space.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Ad Astra.
It's 2001, A Heart of Darkness.
Oh, wow. 2019. Oh, this came out recently.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, jeez. Okay, yeah.
I actually, even when I was watching it, even Johnny was into it. And this is when Johnny was, like, not really, like, watching movies and stuff like he is now. But no, he was into it when I was watching. He liked space movies, because I put on 2001 for him at one point. I was watching it. And he was watching it and like into it, like in the zone, like watching it.
That's interesting. Maybe because I know he likes water, and like space is very like
yeah, maybe
watery.
But
what was I say?
I like watching them fuck up on their things, like cutting up the woman's hands and like him shooting losing his fingers and
like
a lot of drowning in this movie.
Yeah,
a lot of drowning in this movie.
So I have a huge soft spot for magicians because I was a huge Houdini fan growing up. I love magic. I love whatever. I do get really angry when people tell me how the tricks are done. Mm-hmm. I don't mind me figuring it out and like, oh, okay, cool, that's how it's done. But I don't like telling people how things are done, like especially the tricks, because I feel like that's part of the gimmick with magic. It's just like, let's everybody buy into the magic. We're not here to like, you know, pull strings. Mm-hmm. We're just here to see this guy try to fool everybody, and then we'll just call it a day.
Don't be a poopy pants at a show, essentially.
Exactly. And so, so being with this is like with the magic and breaking down, like, because the movie's broken down into 3 different scenes.
Yeah, well,
like,
it does. He tells you at the beginning and he tells you at the end.
Yeah, and so like I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. But like, but with like, it's all about entertaining somebody else. It's just like storytelling, but it's just like more physical and more like instant and more. The gratification is more intense because like you have to work so hard on your craft to be able to even like pull the fucking card from thin air. That's a pretty simple trick to do.
Yeah.
Super impressive every time you see it, and it's one of those where it's like it has this like, I don't know, like magicians.
Well, this movie is definitely an analogy for being an artist.
Oh yeah,
100%. And the rival, you know, if you choose to have a rivalry with somebody else, and you know the different types. I mean, there are 2 different types of people. You know, at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, because like the rivals are like it's always healthy to have rivals, but like this is something just mean and just wanting to be the only one. You know what I mean? Because it's like rivals you should always have a rival to always bring yourself higher or help each other get better in like whatever it is. But this is just bitterness and like jealousy at its like finest, and like you see it because like the lack for human care is just so over the top, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you get the bodies at the bottom once like David Bowie comes in, and you're like thinking like, you're just killing people in general just to be the better magician, and you did it so heinously that you didn't even see the trick in front of your eyes because he's seen the twin hundreds of times. He's a magician, so he has a keener eye. He should have been able to tell, oh, you're not the same person I talked to a minute ago. You know what I mean? He should have picked it up, but he didn't because his jealousy was so high up. I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I still like watching it again. It's always a treat. But yeah, you're right.
You used to watch it all as a kid, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like when it came out. Well, not as a kid. You were a fucking adult at that point. But like I remember you used to watch it all the time.
Oh yeah, because
it was on HBO all the time.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, and then because I was always trying to figure out which brother was which during the scenes.
How many times did you watch that movie?
Probably like hundreds of times. Because I would have it on, and it was good, and then I would just watch it again. I'm like, okay, cool.
I never watched it when you were here watching it, but I always remember it being on for like a good 2 or 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
2 or 3 solid months where I came on over, and this is always on.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was so good, and then David Bowie, like that's always a treat, like to see him come in, because his introduction is so fantastic, because it's that Tesla coil thing, and he just walks out of it. I'm like, fuck, that's rad. And then like the breaking of dimensions to bring in copies of yourself, like that was insane. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
dude, yeah, I didn't expect that sci-fi twist at the end of it. The first
it's based on this is based on a book. I was trying to read the book, listen to the book a while back, but like I on Hoopla I never finish a book.
Okay.
For some reason I'll start it on there, and then I'll get like 5 other like newer books that I've been waiting for on Libby.
Yeah.
And I just never get back to it.
There was a book out, and I was trying to find it, and I've asked people for it, and like they give me other books about it.
Which one?
But it was about 2 magicians in Victorian England, and they are friends as kids, and they become rivals as adults, but they become like generals in the armies or advisors in these like wars, and they like, but like people show me books that have the same premise, but it's not the same book because I remember it.
Huh.
So I'm like, okay, so I don't know. But I've been looking for it, because I remember seeing it at Barnes & Noble, and I remember reading the back, and I remember reading like the first chapter like on the couches there, and I'm thinking, I'll get back to this because I didn't have money. I'm like, I'll just come back for it later. And then years passed, and I forgot about it. And then, but now I can't find it, so I have no idea what book it is.
Did you ever see the rival magician movie, The Illusionist, with Ed Norton?
Yeah, I have seen that movie.
Yes, I saw that over this.
Ooh, which one do you like better? Because it came out within the same month, right?
Yeah, not too far apart.
Yeah.
Probably this one. I don't remember too much of it. I mean, I saw it when it came out.
Yeah, the other one had the bird, where they killed the dove.
I thought that was this one.
Or no? What was the other one? The other one was.
It was.
The Illusionist was. Oh, fuck, dude. They're so similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget.
I think there's also a twin involved in that one too. I think Ed Norton had a twin.
Which I hate when like studios.
Maybe that's why I was just like, oh, maybe because I saw it from a mile away because it's just.
Because it's the same story. Yeah. The thing too, it's like it's one of those where it's like Ed Norton's performance in The Illusionist. I liked a lot. Mm-hmm. His best trick in that was like. I think what's difference between this film and that film is this one's based on like science and like just kind of logic and misdirect and like real like kind of like ordinary magic. Where The Illusionist is like more. We're not going to tell you, but these are the cool magic tricks. Like when he grabs that saber and he puts it on the stage.
Yeah. And
then that general can't take it out, and then he does a little like wink, and then he pulls it out. You know what I mean? It's like. Cool, that's great. That's a great trick, but like I don't believe it because like there's no, we're not seeing how the trick is done, and then or is there a trick or you know what I mean? Like it's very like, magic-y for magic-y sake and not for like, the actual trick and how the trick is made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I like this one more than I do that one. But Edward Norton's performance is fantastic in that film, but yeah, like they're far too similar because even I used to get them confused constantly when I was talking to people because I would forget like who was in what film or whatnot, but I always remember David Bowie was in this one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, this is the better film. But it's I don't know, like I had a friend whose wife was a magician's assistant, and he had her magician was Jimmy H, the Magnificent, and so and he was he
was a friend.
Yeah. And so Jimmy H was fantastic because he got me and my dad into the Magic Castle for my birthday. Okay. And I thought, oh, this is super nice of you. And then like he was just kind of like, oh yeah, I got you in. I have to leave. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like thank you so much. Because he was performing that night. So he had to dip out and he goes like, well, it's your birthday, so I have to like, I can't not give you a trick. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he
bought me a hooker.
So he bought me a hooker and it was amazing. Like I pulled out a $20 bill. And I had it in my hand, and then he like told me to fold it, and because he never touched it at any point, and I folded it into like a little square, and I put it down, and I put the glass. He handed me a glass, and it was clear glass, and I put the lip of it on the like
bill.
the bill. So half of it's sticking out, half of it's sticking in. It tells me to flick it in. So I flick in the 20 into the thing. He goes, just shake it up, and I shake it up, and he goes, okay, like open it up. And so I pulled it up, and I opened it up, and it was a $5 bill. He goes, there's your trick, gotta go. And he took off. I'm like, hey, fucker, she stole $50 from me. And then like, but I was all night. I was just couldn't figure out how he fucking did it. Like it was like he never touched the bill. The only thing he handed me was a glass, and it was clear glass, so there was no way, whatever. And then later on that night, like we caught his last show, which was fantastic. He was doing mental magic, like a mental show, and he had me go up there and make a fool of myself in his wiggle thing. I already know I'm really susceptible to hypnotism, and so like he was like,
I don't know if I am, but I suspect that I am.
yeah, it's just what you wanted to, just like, it's weird because like I've been hypnotized twice, and the first time was for a show at a bar, and like I did some crazy stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool, but like the logic in my mind, I know what happened to those events to a certain point, but like when I talk about it, it's very like I say a different story. It's weird because like I know this, but every time I talk about it, it's always something else. But it's weird.
Okay, so what do you know?
Had a great time.
Okay, so then what happened?
I
got punched in the jaw.
No, my sister told me that at one point of the show, me and her brother-in-law Kevin were on stage, and it's really hard to hold on. Okay, so me and Kevin were on stage. There was telling us something about like, you know, there's a TV in front of us, and Kevin was like, and me and Kevin were next to each other, and there was like he was like, okay, cool, this is what's going on, you've seen this and that, whatever, and I had a great time. The magician said, oh, there's a porn on the screen.
Oh, he's a dirty magician?
And
you
so,
didn't tell me he was a dirty magician.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. And so, so as we were there, me and Kevin both like scooted down in our chairs and just laid back, and at one point later on, fuck, it's so hard to say.
So this makes it sound like you're going to confess that you guys fucked each other.
No. It was just different scenarios, but like I can't remember everything my sister said, so it's hard to remember. But like, I kind of remember stuff. At one point, the magician had us go out into the crowd and pretend we were strippers, and everybody had napkins that they ripped up, and they were like, that was dollars, and that was we had to do everything we could to get those dollars, and so like we were going up there, and then like my sister said I froze, and I didn't do anything, and I turned around and I just looked at her, and the magician came over to me and was like, hey, what's going on? And then like she said that I said something to her, and then he took the mic and was like, he says that his sister's in the crowd, and then so he's like, okay, cool. So he goes, there's a big box over her, and I can't see her, so I can't see that table. And then after that, like, she said I was running around like acting a fool. But overall, though, it was. I know for a fact I had a great time.
Okay.
But like that's also like the only thing I could say about it. Like when people ask about my memories of it, but yeah, no, it was cool.
I had a great time.
But the second time, like he was like Jimmy didn't let me. He didn't put that block in my mind to like forget or whatever it was, or give me any suggestions other than like what we were doing. Like he was just having me cluck around randomly, or he was just having me like grab stuff and just walk into people, and it was just like it was weird stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? But I remember all that because that was awesome because it was like I was just like talking to him, and then like the next thing I know, I'm just in front of somebody. I'm like, just take it. I'm like, what the fuck? And it was so weird. Fantastic though, but I don't even know where I was going. Oh, but Jimmy, like his magician, his trick that he was doing was just so over the top and so just like fantastic that it was like, this is crazy. And I told him like, I didn't even notice you putting these like these like suggestions in my head. And he goes, that's part of the trick. That's why. But he said he's been working on that trick on that performance for about a year and a half, and it was fucking dialed in. It was great because I remember watching the first half of it, and then he had me come in for the final part of it. But it was amazing, and like that dedication to like a simple conversation and simple just reading people and like knowing how to do a performance and a trick is crazy. And I think that's why I love this film because like I see the dedication, I see the hard work in this to keep it like alive. Because like, how long were they fighting for before they decided to like bring in a teleportation device or a thing to do that trick just to find out at the very fucking end that he had a twin? Like it was just like it was crazy. It was I love this. I love this a lot.
We ask a question each week.
Oh my God, Corey Feldman. Where would Corey Feldman be? I would love him. If this became a comedy, I would love him to be the other twin brother.
I want him to be Scarlett Johansson. be the assistant.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just moonwalk on stage away from.
Who would be fantastic? No, the cast is so small, anyways. Like you really can't fit anybody in there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give up
anybody.
Like the two magicians, fantastic. I don't want to give them up. David Bowie, he's perfect the way he is. Maybe no. You know what he'd be good at, and I would like to see it just because I would like to see him in costumes. The theater manager, when he was like talking about it. You know what I mean, just kind of pop in and out, just be like a more of a character actor.
Don't show me at my moonwalking.
But overall, dude, this film was great. So you didn't.
I didn't hate it, but I think
because I saw this first. This is my first one that I saw. Then
this is your first Nolan movie?
No, this is the first the two magician films.
Oh, okay.
So I saw this film, then I saw The Illusionist, and then like after that, it was just.
So you think it's one of those? If you saw whichever one you saw first is the one you like better?
Yes, because I feel like that's what it is with.
But I feel like this one is remembered more than The Illusionist is.
It's still a good movie though, but this one I like it because once again it's more like. The tricks aren't just dismayed by magic. You know what I mean? It's like in The Illusionist they have the tree that bears fruit, where it plants the seed and it grows up, and they show you how like these are the mechanics for it to work, and like cool, great, because it does look like insane. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of things in that film that like don't have an explanation other than like there's no reason to it unless you have a magnet underneath. And you know exactly where it is. And then, you know what I mean? Like, but then like you don't do anything to trigger the mechanism to. Yeah, there was a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah. Hey Jimmy.
Hey Forrest.
What have you been blanking?
Oh man, so I've been watching Game of Thrones
again.
Well, I'd never seen the whole thing, so like,
did you get pissed off at it at some point?
No, because I read the books and I was waiting for the books, and then I was like, okay, well maybe I'll watch it, and then I never did.
Got all pissed
so
off.
I started watching 1 and 2, season 1 and 2, not 3, not 4, because 4 is brand new to me, which is amazing. Whatever the last book was,
they pass by like 4 or 5.
Yeah, so like the last 2 I watched because I watched the season before and then the last 2 seasons just to kind of get what was going on. Because like the book has been like, dude, I don't know why I get my hopes up so much.
I know, like everybody does.
Because George R. R. Martin will put down. He'll say like, "Hey, it's coming out soon."
I bet you it's done. He's just gonna wait till he's dead, so he doesn't have to deal with it.
Oh my god!
I bet you that 100% that's what's gonna happen.
Because
it has to be done at this point.
It has to be done.
You know what I mean?
Neil Gaiman went in, did rewrites on, or not rewrites, but structured it, or
did he?
He worked on it to like tell him like what he needed to do and other stuff. So like he's gotten people in to help him write the book.
Yeah.
So it's stupid because like he doesn't want it. He got angry at the show. Is what it was because they just kind of like jammed a bunch of stuff in there, but it's because the show people knew how it was gonna end and what was gonna be the outcome, and then he got mad. He's like, dude, like I didn't even get my book out. Like this is ridiculous. So I think he's trying to retcon a bunch of different stuff and make it its own thing, but it's already so far in that you can't really change anything. You know what I mean? So I don't know what he's going to do. But yeah, he said back in February it's going to be out in October. Here we are in November, and I'm still angry. So, but yeah, I've been watching it just because I needed good TV. I've also have been watching Rick and Morty again, because it's been so long since I've seen like the first season or that.
That's a good rewatch.
It's a good rewatch. The maturity of the first season is way different from later on, but like
the
it's
last
still good.
season was kind of weird. Like it was rough to get through that last season.
I haven't seen the new season.
It was rough to get through it. I don't know if he just had like if his writing was so precise.
Is it the same guy still writing it, or
no? That guy's been gone.
So that's probably what it is.
Yeah. It's weird, and they sound fine. Like
so, what happened with the guy from
the Rick and Morty guy?
Yeah, like
he was implicated that he had was like really shitty to women.
So was Walt Disney. Everybody loves Walt Disney.
Look, you watch.
So was Sean Connery.
Okay, and everybody measures things different now.
Do they?
Yeah.
No, this sucks. Oh well.
Yeah, but. So yeah, that was.
What have you been watching?
I watched the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, Trap.
Oh, I was thinking about watching it, but at the same time, he's tricked me so many times before that I'm like, I don't want to.
You know what? Up to a point, it's a really it's an okay movie. I'm not gonna say it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's an okay movie. Like if you, it was interesting in some parts. Like I'm like, oh, this could work if it was just done by somebody. Like. He needs to fucking George Lucas these things where he's just like, this is the idea for a story, and just give it to somebody else.
Okay.
Because like the concept of it, you know what the concept of it is, right?
There's a serial killer out and loose. He's at a concert, and then it's.
What the concert is?
It's his daughter singing, right?
No, his daughter isn't singing. It's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter plays that person.
Oh, okay.
So that's where you're getting it basically.
Yeah.
It's his daughter's favorite, like. Performer, and they somehow figured that out, like the people who are going after the killer figure that out, and they're checking all the dads as they come in, and that's their thing is like they knew the dads would take their kids, their daughters to this, so they're checking dads as they go in.
I saw there's this guy that makes fun of movies, and then like I just saw a little bit of it. I'm like I might watch it, so I stopped halfway through, but the logic is kind of like shaky at parts.
It's M. Night Shyamalan, so yes.
Yeah.
I want to say this. I want to tell you this thing, but I don't know if I want to. I don't know if you'll recognize the person.
You tell me.
Okay. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
The person who's like in charge of everything is Haley Mills.
Haley Mills.
Parent Trap.
Oh, yeah.
So
she's Parent Trap for the Parent Trap.
Yes.
That's funny. How does she look? Decent?
Like old?
Right? Old? Yeah.
Like she was, old. And then I watched a show that you would like on Peacock.
Ooh, what is
called
it?
Hysteria.
Hysteria.
It's if John Hughes made The Omen.
Oh, okay.
It's about these kids that play in like a gothy metal band.
Yeah.
And they all think there's like Satan shit happening. Satan shit's happening all around the town. It's like a small town. And Bruce Campbell is the sheriff.
Oh, nice.
And he's in the whole show.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's not just like you think he's not going to be in it because he just kind of pops up for a moment in the first episode.
Yeah.
But then he's in the rest of the whole show, everywhere, just all throughout the show.
So I saw Children of the Corn.
The new one or
the new
original?
one?
I heard it wasn't good.
It had its moments. It was pretty decent, but it was one of those where it's like, oh, okay, it is what it is. But the kids' acting was just so not there. You know what I mean? It was just like I knew what they were going for, and
that wasn't it.
The little girl did a great job, but it was one of those where it's like I don't think she had the range to do that specific part. But I can't wait for her to get older to do more stuff because she was actually pretty good. She was a fucking little bitch though. God, I wanted to punch her in the face.
I read a shit ton of books in the last couple months.
Oh, okay. What books?
This Ain't No Disco about CBGBs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice. You were telling me.
Autonomy. It's about it's Steve Dickel from the Buzzcocks.
Okay.
A book called Monsters: A Fan's Dilemma, where it goes over all like, it talks about cancel culture, but it talks about all the people, like, the shitty people before, like Woody Allen and Roman Polanski, but it even goes farther back to, like, is it Bach? I forgot who, I think it was Bach, about how shitty Bach was, about how he was, like, very, like, anti-Semitic.
I was thinking, when you said Bach, I was thinking back, but yeah,
no.
Okay.
But it was interesting, and it's, like, wrestling with, like, well, I like this over here, why can't you separate the artist from the art?
Right,
And,
okay, yeah.
And doing all that. So, it was interesting. It was a good book. A book called The Name of This Band is R.E.M., about R.E.M.
Oh, okay.
A book called Box Office Poison, about movies that were just box office bombs. It's all of them.
Oh, really?
That's all it is.
Any decent ones in there that were...
Baron Munchausen.
Okay, yeah,
That's one of the ones that was in there. Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some that they
sometimes
skip.
they like, there's no promotion, there's nothing, and they bomb, and you're like, oh, that sucks.
Fletch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic,
Fletch. Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm reading the No Effects book, Hepatitis Bathtub.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's
book heartbreaking.
Is fucking insane.
Oh yeah, it's heartbreaking at one part. Like,
are you talking about the where and it's insane where they don't know what each other is talking about, and they'll say in the middle of it, "Sorry,
yeah,
this is what happened."
Yeah.
Dude. Are you talking about when they're in Santa Barbara?
Yeah.
And the friend?
Yeah.
And the friend broke into the house and
yeah.
That was insane. And then where was it? Melvin didn't know.
He didn't know up until the release of the book.
And then Fat Mike. Then the next page is Fat Mike goes, "Oh no, that actually happened. We didn't tell him because Raymond would have fucking killed him."
Yeah, 100%. Oh, dude. Yeah, no, it is insane. And then especially like when they talk about like,
I am only.
I think this.
I'm not up to what's his face kicking heroin yet. I'm not up to.
I think this is early on. It's just a small little like just blurb that I really liked was like Fat Mike is talking about how he went to a punk show back in the day, and he's like telling people like, hey, punk in the 80s was completely different than it is now. Now they're super safe.
It's super safe now.
And then he goes like, but like, you know, girls are out there, and he saw this one guy pick up a girl.
That part
and
was
then he was like,
oh my god, that part was...
Dude, that was so devastating. And then like, everyone stood around while they took her.
Because he was like, I would have gotten stabbed in the face.
Oh, 100%. And it's just like, oh man, it's so...
It's
a very intense book, but yeah, no, I like it. I thought it was really good.
Really good so far. I guess I'm only about maybe a third of the way through.
Okay, and what's great is like they didn't hold back.
I hope they do another edition from 2015 when they wrote that till like the end.
Okay,
there's an article in Spin that does from about 2000 to the end.
Yeah,
that they just did. And I listened to the podcast, like, break that down. It's, I don't know, I'm very, like, hit or miss with Fat Mike.
So I have a Mandela effect with Fat Mike, but before that, I was always kind of with him, like, I love the band, but they get very political and very to the point where it's like, all right.
But this is the thing, and this is something when I was listening to that podcast, this is what they were talking about. He's more socially political than he is anything.
Yeah, 100%.
They're way more socially political than anything.
Yeah, because at first I thought they were placating to the audience, like for the mass majority. I'm like, okay, maybe that's what it is, but like I have no idea.
Because I've always never saw him.
That's crazy.
Because always kind of hit or miss with them.
Yeah.
Like, I love Punk and Drublick. I love White Trash Two Heaves.
Yeah.
And those are the only two albums I love.
Okay.
And I think those are probably because they're two of my first punk rock albums.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, oh, go check out, when you're learning about bands, or like, go check out these bands. So I don't know, and I like songs here and there, like I don't like completely hate them.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because I was not a Lagwagon fan, but I became one because I kept going to the shows.
I've never been big on Lagwagon either.
Yeah.
I don't hate, it's just not for me. It's like No Use for a Name.
Okay.
Don't hate.
Yeah.
Just never got into them.
Yeah.
I think I even bought, like, when someone was selling CDs, I bought one off of somebody. I just wasn't
into it.
And I don't, they're not bad. They're just not for me.
Yeah. So the Mandela effect I have with Fat Mike is I was on Instagram, like I always am, and I saw a memorial for Fat Mike. And I was like, what? And I was going through the whole thing, and I remember texting you specifically saying, like, hey, Fat Mike today. He goes, oh yeah, and then he said it was heart attack, and I was like, what the fuck? So then
that wasn't me.
Then I texted Travis, and I was like, hey, And he goes, yeah, I heard too. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is crazy. Then it was probably, I don't know, like a year and a half later. And Travis goes, hey, we're going to go see the No Effects show. And then I was tripping balls. Like, what are you talking about?
You had a fucking weird-ass Donnie Darko moment where you hit the wrong fucking
snake. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And then, like, I remember, like, and then I Googled his,
obituary.
His obituary. And then, like, there's little things saying, like, oh, yeah, he passed, everyone just lied about his, like, fake death, blah, blah, blah. But there were, like, old ones, like, from, like, earlier tours. I'm like, no, it was literally like a year and a half ago, but it tripped me out. Like I was you either had a dream or you went to a different fucking... it was like in the middle of the day because it was
never been like I said.
I was at work. I remember that because I was doing my post month end stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then like that's when I was like fucking around online and I saw it, but that tripped me out.
Is the dead fat Mike in this room right now?
Oh yeah.
So I went to a show. I was trying to get ready to go at this place called the Sardine in San Pedro. It was a pretty cool little bar. I'm gonna go back. So it was a cheap show. It was a $10 show, and it was pretty fucking cool. But I saw a band called the Hammer Bombs, the Middle Aged Queers, Reckoner, and Sebende. And you would dig all these bands.
Yeah, no, the flyer alone was all.
That's their cover for Hammer Bombs.
Oh, is it?
With the
cool.
Voltron?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had like a Voltron, like a blow up Voltron that they found somewhere. Or I don't know if they made it or whatever, but it was a blow up Voltron that they had off to the side. That was like a Santa you put on your porch.
Yeah.
But it was a Voltron.
That's cool.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Forrest.
So next week for Christopher Nolan month, we're gonna watch a little movie called Insomnia. Ooh,
I can't sleep.
Robin Williams, prepare to be sad.
Oh no. Next week.
Well, that's gonna do it for the episode this week. If you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our Instagram
at yhblankthat,
or you can email us at yhblankthat@gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.